Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to lesson 3-1. And today we're going to try and answer the question, how do we represent numbers less than 1? So how do we represent numbers that are less than 1 whole? Hopefully, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a review for you. Okay, sometimes at first it'll seem like something that's a review, or it might not, but hopefully this is something that we've covered in the past. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to, let's see, that's 2, 3, 4. All right, now let's pretend this is perfect, and Mr. Winkleman did a great job with that. I wonder if I can copy that. Nope, I can't copy it. So we're just going to let's make 3 of those. Okay? Now, let's pretend, ladies and gentlemen, for the sake of this math lesson, that these are all the same and they're all perfect. All right? Because what we're going to call this one right here, we're going to call that 1 whole. Now, that's W-H-O-L-E because that's an entirety. Then what we're going to do, we're going to cut this one into 4 equal parts. And let's just pretend, for Mr. Winkleman's sake, that these are all the same. I drew them perfectly on that line. And what this one, we're going to call those 4 equal parts. Because that's what these are. They're 4 equal parts. This next box, we're going to again cut into 4 equal parts, but this time we're going to isolate one of them. I'm going to isolate one of them. And that blue one is going to represent, one of 4, or what we've learned to call them, 1/4. Make sense? All right, let's look at another shape here. We'll do our best to all right, so let's put that one right here. All right, and let's make another one here. Again, these are all identical. We're going to pretend that I'm not working on an iPad and I'm working on something that makes it a lot easier to make the identical shape. Now, we are going to represent this one as 1 whole again. Because that's what this is. That is 1 whole. We're going to take our marker, or a pencil, in this case I'm using a stylus, and we're going to break this one into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 equal parts. And we're going to call this one 5, sorry, try that again, 5 equal parts. Because what we've essentially done is we split it into 5 equal parts. This last one, we are again going to split it into 5 equal parts. And this time we're going to shade in 1, 2. We're going to shade in 2. So let's call this one 2 of 5. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what we have essentially done is we have essentially just made 2 fractions. 1 of 4, or 1/4, 2 of 5, or 2/5. And that's essentially all we're going to be working with today. And we're going to look at converting how the relationship between fractions and decimals. So we have a secondary question that we're going to be asking ourselves. What is the relationship, there we go, between fractions and decimals? Because our first question is relatively easy to answer. And as a matter of fact, I actually put both of the answers to that question, two of the answers to that question right in the second question. What is the relationship between fractions and decimals? And that's what we're going to look at, and that's how we're going to spend the next few, maybe week and a half, when we look at lesson 3 dash whatever they are. We're going to be looking at fractions and decimals. One of the first ways that students learn about fractions is they learn, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Our initial foray into fractions and decimals. Generally, for most people, it's all the same. Okay, let's split this into 10 equal pieces. I actually think I did a decent job there. Now, let's pretend that each one of these pieces here, each one of these pieces is equivalent to 10 cents. Meaning each one of these, let's just draw a quick arrow here, 10 cents. Now, if we think of each one of these as 10 cents, what is this whole thing going to be? Well, regardless of what you call it, the whole thing is going to be, it's going to be equal to 1. Now, if I were to isolate one of these, which I'm going to do right here, that is going to be 1/10. And if I want to further look at that, if I want to write this fraction here as a decimal, well, if I have 10 cents, how many cents is that? Well, it's a fraction, it's 1 out of 10, but as a decimal, we have to look at it as 0.1. That is 1/10, or that is, now normally we see this after it. We see 10 cents. Let's take this 1 cent here, and let's take and we're going to slide it over here, okay? And we're going to draw a new shape because, well, new shapes are fun, okay? And we're going to draw, let's see, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 10. Now, if we take that 10 cents, that dime, and we take it and we move it and we break that into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And now we have 9 of them. We have 10 things, and we're going to color in. We have taken something that was, this was 1/10. Okay? Now, when we focus on one of them, though, that is going to be 1/100th. Because each one of these is made up of 10. So there's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Now, what are there 100 of when we look at one whole? Well, there are 100 pennies. So this would be equal to, as we continue here, just like we did there, it's going to be equal to 0.01, or without the dollar sign, it's going to be 0.01, or 1/100ths. So that's the first video here. And I apologize that this was a long video, and part of it was just me trying to figure out how to draw shapes. I probably could have paused and stuff like that, but then you understand why sometimes it takes me a while to do these videos, because it does take time to draw them correctly, and I want to draw them correctly, and I want them to be helpful to you. So again, video 1, that's it, and let's move to video 2.